friends. This is Barb Gully from Barbs Tea Service, and we are back with our BTS podcast, courtesy On TV Studios.
Yep, and we're in the house.
We are in the house, right on.
Yeah.
I'm here, as always, with studio engineer, co-host, and self-proclaimed arm candy.
Oh, now self-proclaimed? Wow, okay.
No, and
I thought that was by acclamation.
I'm going to validate that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, welcome to our 41st.
Right.
Don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
No, we do not.
All right.
42 will be special
42 will be special.
in a lot of different ways.
You're right.
All right.
So, we are always rather busy,
Mm-hmm.
but we have been extremely busy the past few weeks.
Yes.
So, BTS, we had 2 tea events
Yes.
that we wrapped up last week, and we did a chocolate and tea in a Downton Abbey,
Mhm.
and we also got a tractor.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it was an unexpected purchase, but yes, we got it done.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about all that.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot to catch up on.
All right.
And today here what we plan to cover, and we've got this loose theme of city to country.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So we're going to talk about our latest BTST events, including a fun fact that we learned at one of our events that has ties to our last podcast when we talked about Delft
Yes.
and Wedgwood, China.
Yes. A little bit of chemistry.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Then we're going to talk about a special wedding anniversary,
Oh, okay.
Jane Austen decor, and more,
Okay.
and some recent gifts.
Okay.
But first, tea.
Okay. Oh, we pour it so well. It sounds the same every time.
Masterfully.
All right.
Okay, so today we're trying another tea. This is from Steep,
Okay.
and this is a black tea, and it's called Motor City tea.
Oh, a little pun action.
Yes, city is spelled Citea.
I love it. I
How
love
clever.
it.
Okay. So we're gonna take a little sip. We've got it in our On TV studio
Yes.
mugs.
Nice.
All right.
That's our swag.
It is our swag.
Oh, this is really, really good.
It is good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very balanced, I guess, for lack of a better term. I mean, it's kind of your standard issue black tea, but it's got it's highly recommended. Whatever you got at this from, this is good. This is good stuff.
Okay. It's interesting because they describe this
Yeah.
tea, Steep does, as sweet and velvety.
Yes.
And I would say velvety is
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you know what, it's just,
It's that mouthfeel thing.
yes,
Yeah,
it's balanced, it's smooth,
Yeah.
really good.
Oh,
And
good choice.
this one has notes, it says it has notes of cocoa,
Okay.
I don't know if you're getting that.
Yeah. All right.
a little bit of spice,
Right.
and a little smokiness.
Okay.
But nothing's overbearing. It's
No.
just a nice blend.
It is. It's very
Okay.
good. All right.
So this is Motor City. Steep describes it as strong and resilient,
Uh-huh.
just like Motor City itself.
Right.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to show the package just to the camera here.
All right.
You see that?
Okay. And right. And you got this where again?
So Rachel and Sean, our
Yeah.
daughter Rachel and our son-in-law Sean, had purchased this. It's from Steep is a Michigan-based company
Right.
out of Ypsilanti.
Okay.
And I think they might have gotten it down at the Rust
Oh, the Rust Market in Ferndale?
Rust Belt Market.
Yep.
And so they had purchased, this was for Mother's Day.
Right.
And then they had gifted us another Steep tea back for Christmas. This
Okay.
was the Sue Locks tea.
Oh, okay.
And that was an oolong.
Right.
And they have a lot of Michigan themed teas, it's really fun.
All right.
So we mentioned that back in January, we were probably going to be talking more about Steep tea this year, and
Right.
we were right.
There you go.
So that was, as I mentioned, a Mother's Day gift. Also, a little teaser for next week's podcast.
Okay.
Going to be about another swell Mother's Day gift. Some
Yes.
English bone china teacups.
Keep them coming.
Oh, yes. Okay, but before we leave this tea altogether, just a word about where it comes from.
Okay.
So this does taste like very good quality tea.
Yes.
This is from the Fujian province in China.
Right.
Do you know much about Fujian?
I don't. I think when we're talking, it's kind of in the southeast
Yes.
section, kind of Vietnam adjacent.
Right. They said a lot of folks who lived here had did migrate over to Vietnam. But this is it's said to be one of the most affluent provinces of China.
Right.
And one of the reasons is they have a lot of industries, but a big tea production industry.
Yep.
So, yay.
Okay.
And a lot of well-known teas originate from this region.
Mm-hmm.
Oolong,
Right.
like our Sulaks tea.
Yes.
Lapsang Souchong,
Uh-huh.
which we had talked about
Yes.
last year's podcast, and jasmine tea.
Very good.
And even more.
What?
Yes. They have the processing techniques for we talk about the 4 major categories of tea.
Right.
But for processing for the 3 major, oolong, black, and white teas,
Uh-huh.
the processing production was developed here in this region.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
So, yeah, there's a lot going on in this region, a lot
Very
that we
good.
like.
Okay.
Okay. So, from city to country,
Okay.
we were all over Michigan
Yes.
this month.
Yes.
And mentioned all our tea events. Actually, last week we wrapped up 5 tea events in 4 weeks.
Yes. That's a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And, excuse me, still got that all
Yeah.
that pollen in the
Yeah.
air.
Welcome to Michigan.
Yes, exactly. So we had last week our 2 events. One was in Ann Arbor and one was in Commerce Township. And we recruited an old,
Yes.
I'm doing air quotes for those who are just listening, team member to assist last week, and that was our son Rob.
Yes.
And he did fabulous. All our children at one point have been part of the BTS team.
They've been brought into the business, I guess.
The family business.
Yeah.
And since we've been in business for 20 years, it kind of makes sense that they would be part of it for some time. Rob was great. He went right back into just like riding a bike. He was back. He was serving the tea, he was serving the chocolate. And actually, a bonus, he even provided some tech support that we were in desperate need of when we were in Ann Arbor. Okay. So, as I mentioned, our first one was in Ann Arbor, and this was for a ladies group. This was a women's association with ties to U of M.
Right.
And we did the chocolate and tea pairing, and just like what we did back in February, same premise, 4 different teas and 4 different chocolates.
Right.
And the chocolates all came from Michigan chocolatiers.
Yes. Isn't that great?
It's wonderful. And it's not just, we want to, mitten state pride, which we are, but
they're over the top good.
They are so good.
Yep.
So, and if you want to know all the detail, you'll have to join us at one of our chocolate and tea pairings.
Right. Okay.
But one thing that was kind of special about this tea was one of the members who they moved away. Right. She donated 24 of her teacups from her collection. And everyone got one, and it was sort of picked out randomly. You had a number, and then for each cup, she had the history, a little provenance, the pattern, and everything. So it was really fun.
How thoughtful that was.
It was. It really was. So it was a nice share, and she also got to do a little bit of a downsizing donation, which worked really well.
Win-win.
Yes.
All right.
So in my presentation, I talked about Delft, China.
Yes.
Because as I mentioned in our last podcast when we were talking about the Dutch were among the first Europeans to bring tea back from China.
Right.
And they also brought back China porcelain.
Right.
Which was expensive, but it was very good quality.
Highly sought after.
Exactly. So the Dutch decided they would try and create their own.
Right.
Which they did, and they did it in Delft.
Right. Yeah.
Hence the name, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was accessible, it was affordable, but it wasn't that great a quality.
Right.
Because it lacked kaolin.
Yes.
Found out this was a mineral in clay that was in China.
Right.
And it made good quality china.
Yep.
And it was discovered in the 1700s in Cornwall, England, as we talked about.
Right.
And this just launched the English pottery business.
Right.
Wedgwood was one of the first on board.
Right.
So as I was talking about this to this group, I said, I think I'm pronouncing kaolin correctly.
Right.
And this one woman up in front, so sweet. She's shaking her head emphatically. Yes, yes, you are. So afterwards, she came up and she introduced herself. She's a pharmacist.
Okay. She knows her chemistry.
She knows chemistry. And she said kaolin is one of the active ingredients in Kaopectate.
Well, isn't that special?
And you know what that's used for?
Uh-huh. Well, there's a lot of jokes that could get teed up, but I'm not going to do that because this is a quality podcast.
Right.
Okay.
So, some intestinal troubles
Yeah.
and that, and this will keep you in polite company, I guess.
Okay. Along with your tea and
Yes.
your china. Very
Yes.
good.
All right. So, the things you learn along the way, and we thought that was worthy of a share.
Very good.
Okay. So, same week,
Mhm.
we no sooner packed up from Ann Arbor.
Yes.
We were back on the road
A
again.
whirlwind.
A whirlwind to Commerce Township
Okay.
Library. And last year, we did the Ostentatious Tea, our Jane Austen tea, and Pam, BTS team member, bestie, she was there to help.
Right.
This year, we brought Rob back, but we were just very excited
Right.
and honored to be asked to come back again.
Always a good sign.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
So this was Downton Abbey tea, and the original referral was from my great friend, Barb Tab,
Yes.
and she came again.
Uh-huh.
She brought some friends. She brought her delicious homemade scones
Yep.
and another cross stitch.
Uh-huh.
She's a masterful needleworker.
Yes.
And a few years ago, she gifted me with one that said, "It's always time for tea," with a little teacup.
Nice.
This one was a teapot.
Yeah.
Really special. That was very, very nice. And those are both hanging in
Yeah.
a place of honor in our dining room.
Very good.
But we met up with old friends, Jerry and Linda. They came. They've been to a lot of our BTS programs, and we always enjoy seeing them.
Right.
Also, we met some new friends, Wendy and Cecilia. They are sisters,
Uh-huh.
and they shared a real special memory with us.
Okay.
That they had this tradition of watching Downton Abbey every Sunday. Remember, we
Yeah,
used to do that?
Exactly.
Kind of gather
Yeah.
who's ever a Downton Abbey fan. Well, they did this as a family event every Sunday at their mom's house.
Ah.
That was a sweet thing.
Nice.
So we met up with a lot of old friends, met some new friends, and I think Rob met a few friends too.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. As one does.
As one does.
Right.
Okay. So, Chris, as I mentioned, we were busy with all the
Yes.
teas, and you were lining up heavy machinery. I do have to give out another shout out to Rob
Yeah.
because he not only can serve tea,
Right.
tech support,
Yeah.
he also is a master of machine repair,
That's right.
and he fixed your chipper.
He did. Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He's a Renaissance man.
He is. He truly is.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about this tractor.
Well, as we've mentioned before, we had this I don't know, once in a century ice storm in northern Michigan, and it's not to make light of it, it's quite devastating.
Right.
Our cabin was had no power for 18 days. People were living up there 2
Right.
weeks without power.
Right.
It was just I think I shared the story when this is all happening. I'm on social media and people are like, "This is awful. This is a war zone." I'm thinking, "Oh, they're being a little dramatic." And we go up there, and it's like, no, they weren't. It was just you look down the road, every telephone pole was snapped in half.
Right.
It was just incredible. Anyway, so we have some trees on our property, and the effect of the ice on these trees was it just kind of bent them over until they snapped in half,
Mhm.
and so we've got a lot of damage on the ground. So this was not on my radar to deal with this year.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, long story short, I got a compact tractor with a front loader, and then you can kind of attach some forks to it, and basically kind of pick up the brush and move it and save my back and that sort of thing. And so that is what we're going to be doing this year. And so anyway, in addition to that, I had this chipper that was kind of in my shed, being neglected and would not start. So I took it to my son, and he does his thing and rebuilt a carburetor and all that stuff. So it works great. So that is that's what we're doing.
Yes, and I think that this is you've got sort of a waiting list of people who want to use that tractor.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So
childhood dream.
yes,
Yeah.
so you've been moving stuff around
Yeah.
already.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
were up
yeah.
there for a few days
Right.
and this past week, so it was great to get that on board.
Right.
Okay, so I mentioned that this is our 41st podcast
Yes.
in the studio.
Right.
But we're also celebrating 42.
Yes, we are. Of marriage.
42 years of marriage.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay us.
Yeah. Yeah. So in over 4 decades, we've had different celebrations.
Right. Right.
You know, and with 3 wonderful children
Yes.
coming on early in the scene.
Right. Yeah.
We spent a few anniversaries at the zoo.
There you go.
Always fun.
Yep.
Enjoyed that because I only had really one criteria
Yep.
on our anniversary, that I don't cook.
Okay. It's easy.
And, you know, it kind of held to that.
Yeah,
Maybe it
Yeah. Right.
got a little carried away. I don't cook at all. But anyway, so.
Every day's like an anniversary, right?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, you're so special all the time.
All right.
But we did start upping the game. So for our 25th anniversary, we went to Paris.
Yes.
For our 35th
Right.
anniversary, we took a transatlantic cruise
Right.
with our friends
Yep.
Pam and Quint.
Right.
We went from Southampton to New York.
Yes.
That was a blast.
That is the way to go.
It really is. That was special. And then for our 40th which was just a couple years ago,
Right.
of course, we did a 2-week road trip
Right.
through England and Scotland.
Right.
We met up with our kids,
Yep.
Matt and Jenna.
Right.
Really special.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of looking at this
Right.
and looking at these milestones
Right.
and maybe the ones that are a little bit not.
Right.
So the 25th is silver.
Right.
The 35th is coral
Okay.
/ cruise.
Okay.
And the 40th is ruby.
Okay.
42nd.
Yes. Red tractor.
Kind of special.
Yeah.
So do you think the tractor's going to get traction?
Oh yeah. Vroom vroom.
Okay. So
All right.
I don't know. When I saw you out on the tractor,
Yes.
you know, kind of a gentleman farmer,
Yeah.
it brought to mind one of my favorite
Oh,
childhood.
Here we go again.
You know, you got Star Wars. I still
Yeah.
have Green Acres.
All
So
right.
this is Green Acres.
There you go.
And we have talked about Green Acres before. When I saw you out,
Yeah.
kind of reminded me of Oliver Wendell Douglas.
Yes.
And so this was a TV series that starred Eddie Albert
Right.
and Ava Gabor.
Right.
We're talking about the Gabors again.
Again. We can't not talk about them.
So we mentioned before that Ava was the youngest of the 3 Gabor sisters.
Right. Right.
And she also had the least amount of husbands.
Right. Because I think I commented because she had a day job.
She had a job. So the premise was there's this wealthy couple from
Right.
Manhattan.
Right.
They move to the country.
Yep.
And they have they have a fixer-upper that's
Right.
being kind. That was kind of one
Yeah.
of the punchlines. This thing's always in need of repair.
Right.
And Oliver Wendell Douglas, he was the lawyer.
Yes.
And Ava Gabor plays Lisa, his glamorous wife.
Right.
She still dresses up in minks and pearls and
Yeah.
makes her hot water soup.
Yeah.
She prefers stores to chores
There you go.
and Times Square to fresh air.
You know, those the lyrics you heard 50 years ago, you can probably
Right.
recite that.
I can't
that-
remember where I was yesterday, but I know the theme song to Green Acres.
Right.
So we're kind of off. This is an adjacent.
Yeah. How did we get there?
But I just thought I would continue a little bit
Right.
because talking a little bit about these sitcoms in the 60s.
Right.
So the people who created Green Acres,
Right.
that was the last in this crown jewel. They did Beverly Hillbillies.
Right.
And they also did Petticoat Junction.
Okay. That's right.
So this one they didn't even have a pilot. Because they just said, here, do
Yeah.
something, and this is the crown jewel.
Right.
Triple crown.
Okay.
So there
Life was simple then.
it was. But not everything was a success.
No.
I mean, the standards were, you
Yeah,
know, maybe the bar was low, but, you know, there was also another sitcom in the 60s that was inspired by the
Right.
success of Beverly Hillbillies.
Right. Right.
Do you know what that was?
We were just talking about that, and had Phyllis Diller in it.
Had Phyllis
Oh,
Diller.
my gosh.
It was called The Pruitts of Southampton.
Okay, so we are leaving. If you're a younger listener / viewer, you have no idea who or what we're talking about.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, this came up. for some reason, it showed up on one of my feeds.
Right.
And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
the Pruitts of Southampton, as I mentioned. So this Southampton is not the Southampton that we
Sailed
took-
from.
sailed from in
Right.
England. This
Right.
is the Tony section of Long Island,
Right.
the Hamptons.
Okay.
So this starred Phyllis Diller,
Okay.
and they were trying to build on the success of Beverly Hillbillies. So it's sort of the reverse.
Yes.
So the Beverly Hillbillies, poor family.
Yeah.
They struck oil, so
Right.
they have a lot of money. They go to Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
With
Isn't that called like high concept? Is that I mean, it's like a premise to a show. It's like you can explain it in 2 sentences.
yes,
And run this thing for 5 years.
right.
Okay.
Yes, but this one
Yeah.
aptly was grounded pretty early.
Yeah.
So the Pruitts of Southampton, very different.
Right.
They were a wealthy family
Yes.
that lose all their money,
Okay.
and they are informed by an IRS agent,
Right.
who's played by Richard Deacon,
Yeah.
that they have they're broke.
Yes.
But they also, the IRS wants them to continue this charade of having money.
Yeah.
Because it could have.
See, this is where it probably broke down. You're rolling okay, and you're talking about the producers were fine, and then no, they had to add one more thing.
Right. So he says, keep this up because it could be detrimental to the U.S. economy if people found out.
Yeah.
Anyway, they it lasted only one season.
Right.
They retooled it halfway through.
Right.
Renamed it the Phyllis Diller Show. Nothing helped.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you,
Yes.
this is a public service announcement
Okay.
because I watched the pilot on YouTube.
Right.
I was surprised it made a whole season.
Right.
But here's my public service
Yeah.
announcement.
Okay.
Use YouTube responsibly
Yes.
and wisely. Don't waste your time watching such things
Like you do.
like I did.
Yeah.
Exactly. Watch quality TV.
Yes.
Anything on TV
Yeah.
from On TV Studios, including Barbs Tea Service.
Right.
All right.
Very good.
So
Okay.
back to our anniversary.
Yes.
This is kind of cute. I just want to share this
Okay.
because when we were up north with our tractor.
Yes.
We
Uh-huh.
went to one of our favorite restaurants up there,
We did.
Lewiston Lodge.
Yes.
And when we came in, we said, "Oh, it's our anniversary."
Yep.
So they said, "Hold on a minute.
Yep.
We're going to get you a really good table."
And they did.
They did. They got us a table in the lake room.
Right.
And we were right up by the window overlooking East Twin Lake.
Yep.
And we found out we weren't the only ones celebrating anniversary in the lake room
There were things going on.
that night.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were introduced to a couple.
Another couple, they were doing 43, right?
They were celebrating their 43rd
Yeah.
anniversary.
Right.
So we got to talk to them, really nice
Yeah, yeah.
couple. And you know what? The one thing I do regret is I wanted to ask them what is in store for the 43rd. Or maybe we'll
Yeah.
be surprised.
Be surprised.
Be surprised. Okay. So, we got a little bit of time.
Right. Yep, we're doing fine.
Okay. So I just want to mention real quick, too, that last year we had some special guests,
Right.
Rick and Carol, about this time,
Mhm.
and they just celebrated their 25th
Right.
silver wedding anniversary.
Yes.
So we shared a little bubbly
Right.
while we were in the studio.
Mhm.
Not in the studio.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we also gave them a personalized embroidered towel
Yes.
that was from Honeywood Acres.
Right.
Honeywood Acres. Kara's
Embroidery. Honeywood embroidery.
Honeywood, yeah, they
No,
live
it's
in.
Green Acres. Honeywood embroidery.
Yes, Honeywood Acres is actually the subdivision they
Yeah,
live in.
Right.
So easy mistake.
Good catch.
Yeah, thank you. So anyway, and we had this towel embroidered with their initials and the anniversary. Rick had told us that May 23rd is National Towel Day.
You know, this has got to come to an end here.
Too much adjacent.
Yeah. No, it's just a towel day.
Oh,
No,
Towel Day.
come on.
National Towel Day.
All right.
Okay. So, yes, we didn't observe that, and
I'm waiting for Fish Knife Week.
oh, you just gave me an idea.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Okay. So, speaking of Jane Austen,
Yes.
which we weren't but we should
Okay.
in our short time remaining.
Right.
I want to also mention, because we had been talking about the build up to the Miss Austen
Right.
masterpieces,
Right.
Miss Austen, and it was 4 episodes. The final was, I think, a week ago.
Yeah, and
2
it
weeks
was like 2 episodes.
Right. So we saw the conclusion, and what did you think of that?
I think you liked the book better.
I
I don't know. I don't know. It was okay.
It was okay. It was slow moving,
Yeah.
paced kind of slow, but definitely I would recommend the book. The
Yeah.
book is better. But talking to my brother Glenn,
Yes.
this is really not his
Right.
his area of it's not like fantasy football
Right,
or sports, but he hung in there, and
Yeah.
he said he was glad he did.
Right.
He enjoyed the ending. But anyway, speaking of Jane Austen,
Yes.
which we were,
Yes.
there was an article in House Beautiful this month.
Okay.
This is the title: Jane Austen inspired decor is rekindling the romance our interiors need right now.
Okay.
We're entering a Regency core revival.
Oh, here we go again.
Yes. So what sparked this was, of course, a lot of these period dramas.
Right.
So we've got the Downton Abbey movie coming up in September.
Right.
We've got a new Netflix Pride and Prejudice.
Yep.
Then, of course, we've got Bridgerton, and we've got the 250th birthday of Jane Austen, right?
Okay. All right.
All these things are adding to this desire or demand. And what constitutes some of the Austen decor?
Okay.
This is everything from heirloom-inspired furniture to delicate wallpapers.
All right.
All right? Less heavy on ornamentation, and details should exude charm,
Okay.
like strategic moldings,
Okay.
arresting lampshades,
Oh, wow.
and vases of fresh flowers.
Okay.
Also, intentional clutter.
Oh, well, unintentional clutter is a problem, but it's all fixed with intentional clutter.
Exactly. So these are
That's great.
these are collections of maybe leather-bound books or
Sure.
candles.
Uh-huh.
It's not
Yeah.
coupons and mail that you haven't put away or keys. And I'm looking at my end table in the family room.
Right.
That's clutter. This
All right.
is intentional clutter.
Okay, good.
So what else is going on with this? If you're looking for colors and hues,
Right.
blue was a popular color
Okay.
in Austen time, used with yellow,
Okay.
but also plenty of other soft yet spirited shades:
Okay.
blush pink, lavender, or pearl gray.
Okay.
And now there's available is from Schumacher is Mr. Darcy's wallpaper. English countryside.
Okay.
That's got to be some kind of room.
The jury's out on that, I think.
Yeah, okay, I'd
Right.
say so. Sheer curtains with white embroidery
Okay.
and upholstered walls.
Okay. Like leather or something? I don't know.
Yeah, that jury's out on that one.
Okay.
Too. Okay. But the article concludes with this.
Okay.
And I want to leave you with this.
All right.
Ostentatious interiors serve as your gateway to infusing romance into the everyday.
Okay.
In a world where unsettling events are all too frequent, this style offers a much-needed escape and sense of relief.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Very
So,
good.
what do we got? 1 minute?
Yep.
Okay. So, very quickly, next week, very special. We're having our special guest come back.
Right.
Rob and Megan.
Yep.
Going to be talking about something really incredible.
Yeah.
Thrifting.
Yes.
Megan is a guru, and she's going to share some of her tips.
Yes.
And all the stories that we talked about, blogs, links will be on our description. And I want to thank On TV Studios, as always, and my wonderful arm candy.
Yay.
I, again, validate that, not just self.
Okay.
And happy anniversary, dear.
Same back at you.
And as we like to say at Barbs Tea Service, please stay tuned.
Okay.